You know what I did?
No, nothing even comes to mind. I couldn't even come up with a fake thing that I thought that you did.
Do you want to try and come up with a fake thing?
No, I can't. My brain went blank. I don't know if that's speaking to my cognitive decline or just the thought that I think that you don't have the capability to do anything.
Hey.
So what did you do?
I made my own cold brew.
What the fuck?
It's so much easier than you think.
Yeah, you make some coffee and you put it in some ice.
No, that's not it.
Oh, you can't do that. It'll water it down too much. You make some coffee and you put it in the fridge.
No. Okay. So the reason why your coffee, like your hot coffee, even if it's an espresso poured over ice, it tastes a little weird is because it does change the chemical composition of the coffee. And that's why it tastes different than like a cold brew. Because with the cold brew, you basically like steep it for like 24 hours or 12 hours if you want. And it just, it like infuses more of the coffee without it being more and more diluted. So you just like grind a bunch of coffee, like coarse grind it. And then you put it in some water. There's like an amount. I think it was like a cup and a half. Oh no. A cup of grounds and a cup and a half of water. And I put that in a jar and then I let it sit. It was like from 1 p.m. to, I don't know, maybe like the morning sometime. So then and then you just strain it and you put it in the fridge and then you put it over ice with I have a simple sugar that I made, simple syrup and some milk. And it's so good. And it's higher caffeine and it's really fun.
And there's our show. Thanks for listening to this episode of One Topic, where we spent an hour listening to Autumn tell us about her cold brew routine.
I was excited.
It sounds like tea. It sounds like you're making a big thing of tea in a way. I know there are more steps to it, but if you're steeping the coffee, it's similar to making tea, correct? Hello?
Oh, hello?
Oh, no. Hello?
Oh, what happened? What's happening?
Hello? Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh, it's back. It's back. I don't know what that was. What happened?
It seemed like the internet dropped.
Yeah, that's weird.
Is it? Is it so weird?
Well, yeah, it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's the quality of these expensive services we pay for.
Oh, yes. Okay, sorry. So, it's like making iced tea, kind of.
Yes.
But more caffeine and it feels so good.
I never was a cold brew fan, even when it's made correctly like that. Early on, I felt as though I was just getting that garbage where people made hot coffee into cold coffee by putting it in a fridge or something. But in the summer, I mean, look, I'm the guy who wears pants in the summer. It's 95 degrees and I'm not putting on shorts. I go get a coffee and I say, "Can I get a coffee, please?" And they assume cold brew. And I say, "No, drip coffee."
So, well, do they assume iced coffee or cold brew?
Oh, I'm sorry. My semantics are off. They're not even semantics. I understand that they're different things. Iced coffee is just coffee put on ice. I do know that cold brew is a different process. And a lot of times you can buy it, the concentrate. Is that what you made, the concentrate? And then you mix it with something else? Or do you just make a whole pitcher of cold coffee?
No, I ground a bunch of beans. And that equaled a cup of ground coffee grounds. And then put water in it and then let it sit for an hour.
All right. So you made a whole pitcher.
Well, I made a jar. Like I like to keep glass, so I have like an old spaghetti jar, spaghetti sauce. And I put it in that and let it sit.
Yeah, we did a video once at a cold brew factory.
Yeah?
I forget what it was called. Grady's or something. It was a smaller company. I saw the cold brew on the shelves here in New York. I didn't buy it. Like the way they were talking about it and like the art and the science behind the cold brew.
Well,
it's like,
I'm sure it can get pretty dumb.
Whatever, dudes. Give me my hot coffee. I drank hot coffee on set. It was sacrilege.
Really? Were they mad at you?
No one said anything. In my mind, I assumed that I was getting looks. I would glance at a person like, oh, they're giving me a stare down. They don't like the fact that I'm drinking the hot coffee. I'm the enemy. We're trying to change people's habits. But Thank you for pointing out the difference between iced coffee and cold brew.
Yeah, it's totally different. And iced coffee isn't really all that bad either. But you know what I really am upset about sometimes? I'll go to Dunkin' Donuts and I'll get an iced coffee with milk and sugar. And they'll put the powder, they'll put sugar. Like, they won't put liquid sugar in it. So you take a sip of it and it's bitter because it just tastes like coffee and milk. And you're expecting the sweet, but the sugar is all at the bottom. Like at the bottom of your cereal bowl when you used to put sugar in your cereal, which is good. That's fun, right? But this is not, because it's like, and then if it's a cold thing, your granulated sugar is not going to dissolve. So what are you doing? Put liquid sugar. That should be like the default way to operate.
Crispix. That was the cereal I used to.
Yeah.
Is Crispix even still around?
Is that the same as Chex Mix?
It
Not
was-
Chex Mix, but Chex?
Crispix was similar to Chex. Chex geometry, like the shape that they used, it wasn't as impressive. It was just like a square.
Oh, yeah. This is like a
It's like a hexagon or something.
yeah. 1, 2,
No, it was 6
3,
sides.
4, 5, 6. Sextagon.
Yeah. What is 6 sides? Heptagon?
No, is hectare. What's a hectare?
The hexagon is 6. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. Hexagon 6. Octagon is 8.
Oh, what about when you
What
have
a fucking fool.
What's sextuplets? Isn't that 6?
Yeah, I guess that's a different thing.
And septuplets? The fuck are words?
Yeah, six offspring born at one time is sextuplets, but hexagon. God, that was the most basic thing. Why did octagon leave my brain? See, my brain is dying. I couldn't come up with something that you did. In general, my body's dying. My right hand no longer works the way it used to.
Are you still eating a lot of sugar?
Yeah, I not as much as I used to.
Okay.
I cut back, but the past couple days have been pretty bad. There was a bunch of Easter candy, and then at work we had this little festival, and there was a bunch of candy sitting out, like full Snickers bars and Kit Kats and Twix and bowls of Starbursts. And it wasn't enough for me to eat it in the spot. I, brought a bunch home.
Okay.
Took handfuls of Starburst and threw
Put them in your
into
pocket?
Yeah.
You didn't curate the Starburst? I'd be like, I want the pink ones and I want the
I took them all.
and the orange.
I've learned to appreciate all the flavors.
Okay.
Even the lemon.
Lemon has its place.
As far as Skittles go, the order used to be lemon, lime, orange, purple, cherry. Purple's grape. I don't know why I didn't say the flavor.
Well, with candy or stupid things, purple can be kind of the flavor. It can be the name of the flavor. Purple.
But I switched it up. And now that was the order of my least favorite to my most favorite. And now I know this is thrilling content, but now it goes lime, grape, lemon, usually orange, and then cherry. But sometimes orange is now the top of the list.
See, I don't pick through my my Skittles. I just take a handful and eat them.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
Would you do the same with Starburst if they weren't wrapped?
No, those are specific.
Yeah, because you have to take the time to unwrap.
Yeah, because they're bigger too.
True. Well, I like unwrapping them all at once, and then I don't eat them. So last night I had 10 sitting on my bed, and I unwrapped them all. You do the work, and then you treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Anyway, you ask about the sugar. Why? Does that slow down your nerves and your response time or some shit? Because this hand ain't working the way it used to.
I would say, because I don't know nothing about nothing, but I would assume that it would have something to do with inflammation. And sugar can cause a ton of inflammation.
There's no pain.
No, it doesn't mean there's pain with inflammation. It could just be there's an inflammation in your body, you're carrying, water in places or something. And then that can affect maybe the connection of nerves. It can definitely affect your brain chemistry.
I think it's the phone.
The phone? Okay, sure. That's the way to, yep.
I think it's typing constantly, always being on a computer for work, and the phone. Man, just fucking lay there. I'm playing this dumb game where you move these Lego blocks around and you try to get them removed from the frame. It's a puzzle game, and I enjoy it. But it's like hours go by. I'll start playing it, and then I realize like an hour and a half or 2 hours has gone by, and you're just laying there on the bed with my left hand holding the phone and my right hand bent at the wrist like a fucking crane's neck, and my finger just swiping the screen.
All right.
Fuck.
Recurring episodes of hypo or hyperglycemic states are associated with increased risk of cognitive impairment. Evidence in animal models indicate that overconsumption of free sugars can lead to molecular changes and cognitive impairment, particularly in the hippocampal dependent memory.
You want this to be sugar so bad instead of carpal tunnel.
I'm not talking about your hand. I'm talking about
my brain now. I understand.
Brain. Oh my God, the formation of memories that contain information about the specific time and place of acquisition, which are commonly referred to as autobiographical or episodic memories, critically relies on the hippocampus and on a series of interconnected structures located in the medial temporal lobe of the mammalian brain.
Sugar's so good though. Like
it is, but you should have like, more protein or something.
No, I'm a hummingbird. Give me sugar.
I like to
my long tongue's coming out.
I like to refer to very small amounts of things as a hummingbird's beak's worth. Because if you think about how teensy that is, it's the smallest amount. How much can fit inside of a hummingbird's beak?
It sounds like it should be a saying from the deep south back in the 1700s.
Man, I'm so thirsty. I could. No, hold on. I'm so thirsty.
No, it's like a slice of pecan pie or something.
Oh, just, you know what? Give me just a hummingbird's beak's worth of that pecan pie.
See?
I like it to be liquid, but I guess you're right. Like if it was just a teensy bit.
All right. Iced tea, sweet tea.
Hummingbird beak. What capacity?
Of like sweet tea. That's
Ooh, wait. I'm on the sugars. I just went to the doctor and he told me that I'm pre-diabetic. So just give me a hummingbird's beak worth of that sweet tea. Okay, so depending on the species, a hummingbird's beak can be as little as 8 millimeters or as long as 120 millimeters.
Whoa!
I have no idea how big that is.
120 millimeters, that's like 12 centimeters. That's a big range. That was more of my reaction. From 8 millimeters.
How big is 8 millimeters?
Baby? Right when it hatches?
No, because some of them are, because some hummingbirds are itsy bitsy.
No, I want to see it when it's in its ugly state.
Have you seen those little baby hummingbirds? They are like, even seeing like a regular hummingbird, I feel like they're like bugs. Don't you think? They just feel like bugs, but they're actually birds. And then if you think about their little babies, they're teeny little bugs.
They are cute though. It's the only bird that can fly backwards.
And can like hover, right?
Yeah. It's like a fly.
Like a fly. I'm telling you, they're evolving to just, they're going to be a bug. I guess you can't really do that.
It's like a platypus laying eggs, crossing the boundaries of mammal into lizard and bird.
Why is a platypus like that?
Why does it lay eggs?
But it's a mammal.
Yeah.
But why?
And sharks give live birth instead of laying eggs. How about that?
Oh. But other things give live births, like this is not the same, but a seahorse.
Yeah, they just shoot them out, huh?
Yeah. That's what they do. And they like kind of thrust.
And then a giraffe gives live birth when it shouldn't.
Why shouldn't a giraffe?
Because that baby falls so far to the ground.
But it's a mammal. Then it definitely makes sense.
Yeah, but evolution should say, hey, our babies are breaking their legs upon birth.
They're not breaking their legs, are they?
I don't know. That's a long fall.
They must be, but They must be made for it. Like, especially like the baby giraffe must be.
They fall 6 feet.
The platypus is classified as a mammal because it has fur and feeds its young with milk. It flaps a beaver like a tail. Oh, sorry. It flaps a beaver-like tail, but it also has bird and reptile features.
Yeah, it's
a duck-like
beak.
bill and webbed feet, and lives mostly underwater. Males have venom-filled spurs on their heels. A platypus comes from the devil. It is an abomination.
A horrific creature. People don't love them the same way they love the, what are the other swimming mammals? Not beavers.
Otters.
Yeah, otters.
I love
Everyone
otter.
loves otters. Oh, the otter's the cutest thing. Look,
They
he's
are
fun.
so
He's
cute,
just floating
sea
on
otters.
his back and he's smiling at me. And
They are so cute.
I get it. They are. But then when people started putting their opinion online, and everyone loved the otter.
Oh, really? Was there like a consensus about the cutest animal?
Somewhere along the line.
Because I was not in attendance. But my answer would also have been otter.
So a baby giraffe is born head and feet first. Its long neck, its head is just shoved down there with its feet.
Baby giraffe.
And then it falls 6 feet to the ground. Just splats. But it is pretty amazing. It gets up like almost immediately. Dumb
Well,
human.
that's all like prey animals.
Dumb human.
Human?
Yeah, dumb human babies. Like, I'm helpless for years. When do you think the human child would be able to live on its own? And I'm not talking about in today's society where you have to have a job and make money. But if you're just out and you have to take care of yourself, it would be like 15.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it would be deep teens.
The thing couldn't go out on its own for so long.
Okay, so, I mean, yeah, I would guess around, like in like tribal societies, I would bet it's more of like a early teens thing, right? Like 12. But that was because it put so much, like we were able to put so much effort into the brain and not into, I guess, the body being able, to, I get you gain things and lose things, right? So like growing the brain, you lose some like primal instincts that make you able to maybe survive younger or something.
Well, our brains are a detriment these days.
I really don't think so. I think it's more the society that we've built is so disconnected from the roots of where everything starts, which is in nature or like the earth or like the life cycle of things, that now we have things like incels. You know what I mean? And it's like,
we still have the instinct to become, and you bring this up all the time, tribal. And
we are very tribal.
Given the opportunity, people will break off into groups and shit on other groups. Yeah. Even if there's no real reason to do it.
Yeah.
It is built into our nature. It's like, these are the people that I'm going to shit on those other people with. Like, we're going to get together and say, look how dumb those idiots are.
In a macro way, that is the case. And in a micro way, because like I will shit on moms that look too much like moms. That makes me better. I'm tribal in that way,
I mean,
which is my bad. I mean, it's a flaw of mine. I'm not saying like I'm proud of that.
You can strive to be perfect, but it's there. It's a tendency that we're pulled towards. Yeah. And I think that there are healthier outlets. And then there's some outlets that do real damage. And, as a society these days, I read an article about democracy depending on people putting aside differences and not leaning too much into that tribalism thing. And that's how they need to survive. But through all the usual suspects, social media, internet, things like that it's all fractured and it's never going to be better. It's just getting worse and worse. And the people who have the inability and are less likely to extend an olive branch and have real conversations currently have all the power. And so the people who are probably the majority of the people who would prefer to just get along with the other side have been shamed and scared into silence. So we just sit here and don't do anything like cowards as those people run the world, because it's like, I don't want my livelihood to be ripped from me because I said one not even wrong thing, but perceived slight against the good. So that's why I get weird sometimes when you bring up non-controversial things on the show that I feel are like, hey, just don't go there. It's not even worth the risk.
Yeah.
Don't even do it.
I think on a podcast like this, I think it's more acceptable to explore those types of things versus like the radio show.
I'm all for exploring it, and I wish I am more vocal about it. But in the back of my mind, I always think, it's like, look, this is a public podcast. I don't make any secrets that I do it. It's very easy to find that I do this and the radio show and all the other things I work on. And if somebody, the wrong person, started listening or listened to one episode and heard one thing, that's the thing. They don't even need to listen to multiple shows. They can listen to one show and hear one thing, take it out of context, and then take it to like HR or something at work. And that could be the end, which is fucking ridiculous.
Doesn't it seem though, like, okay, yeah, someone has, let's say that happens. And doesn't it seem like that you would go in front of, let's say, HR, and you'd be able to speak to them and they would have
care
brains
these days?
Really?
Maybe there's this idea that it shifted a bit, but remember the height of all this, and maybe the height of it right now. I don't even know if I don't think we've passed anything, but the height of, for lack of a better term, cancel culture, it seems to have died down a bit. But I think a lot of people are just feeling defeated after the most recent election. Most of the people who would want to partake in cancel culture. So for the moment, they're like, they just don't have the motivation. But at some point, I feel like it's going to come back even stronger. Let's say it doesn't. The fact that these corporations and companies did not fucking give a shit. They would just fire people immediately. So yes, in a rational world, you'd be called into an HR office and they say, hey, what is this thing? This was brought to our attention. Like, did you even listen to it? Here's the context of it, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I guess the most that they could say in this instance like that is like, hey, Ian, you work here. We don't want you getting into this. You got to stop doing, a podcast or something like that, which I would throw a fit over and say, no, you can't tell me to do that. But a lot of these companies do make people sign things that say they won't work elsewhere without, and then not that this doesn't even work because I don't get paid for it. But
I know. What would that be? Would it be a non-compete?
They just, I don't know. But you sign things that say without permission, you can't do things. I didn't sign that. Okay. Like I got that. Yeah. I got that form. I just never signed it. But I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I figured they'd come at me and say, you didn't sign this. But in a rational world, that would be the most extreme. But these days, I feel like we don't give a shit. Doesn't matter. You're out. Because if we don't, this is going to turn into a bigger shit show that we don't want to deal with. And we don't have the balls to stand up to these people.
I guess it just feels crazy.
I mean, the fact that you just said we don't have the balls, that's problematic in its own right.
Yeah.
You should be let go.
You don't have the ovaries.
Yeah. You're trying to say that only people who have balls are people who can stand up for what they believe in. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it is kind of honest. Just saying. It is a bit patriarchal to say like balls are the things that are stronger because balls are so sensitive and dumb. Whereas like women's vaginas are made to give birth. They bleed every month. You kick us there. It doesn't really hurt.
That's
it's
the
like
reason
kicking
I
us
think
in the, arm.
You don't have the balls because it is sensitive. So you get kicked there, but you keep moving forward. A man who has balls of steel can take that kick.
See, now that makes more sense. Balls of steel. But if you say you have no balls, that'd be like better because then you won't get hurt.
I think it's about taking that kick to the testicles and not falling over.
But then the phrase should be like balls of steel,
Taking a rag ball to the crotch in front of your whole 7th grade PE class and having everyone laugh at you. as you're on the ground rolling in the fetal position and then going to math class later in the day and having the teacher say, "Are you okay? I heard what happened," and thinking, what the fuck? How did you hear that happened to me in PE class? And why are you even bringing it up? Do you not understand the middle school mind at all? Psycho.
I'm sure that has happened to many a dude. That exact scenario.
The teacher shouldn't be bringing it up. Like when my voice cracked giving a presentation, going through puberty, everyone's voice cracks.
Yeah.
And the whole class laughs, and I look over, the teacher's laughing too. I also don't think it's that funny of a thing to have your voice crack.
Well,
what's funny about
teacher,
it?
Or was it a woman?
It was a woman. Dampier. Mrs.
Dampier?
Dampier.
Is it Peare?
I think it was Dampier.
Oh, okay. I wanted it to be French. Dampier.
At some point it probably was, and they modified it. We don't like that French spelling over here.
Dampier.
Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet. Man, I got thrown under the bus the other day from Jared, and it wasn't even me. He was the one. They were like,
I heard.
Autumn, you said that Timothy Chalamet was from France. Or no, he's a dual citizen, and you're wrong, idiot. And I was like, what? Whoa.
I was listening to one of the podcasts driving back from Massachusetts this past weekend. Yeah. We went up there. Christina's sister got engaged, and there was the second engagement party because lesbian couples, I guess, both both propose, and so there are two engagement parties.
Okay.
And I missed the first one, but knowing that, I didn't feel as bad. I was like, well, I'll miss the first one, but there'll be a second one. So I was able to get to the second one. Cool. Got up in the morning, drove up there, took 2 hours and 45 minutes. Driving back in the afternoon took 4.5 hours because of fucking traffic. So I listened to plenty of those old podcasts from the previous week of the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I did hear that the discussion about Timothy Chalamet came up being from France, and you got blamed for saying that he was from France when he was born in the United States. And George saved you. He rolled the tape back.
I was really glad that he did, because I was like, no. But then I'll get real indignant about something like that, and then they'll replay it, and I will have said it. So I feel so confident, and then I can be humbled very quickly. But that time I was still right. I felt good about it.
Yeah, he still wouldn't accept the blame, though.
Oh, I know. Oh, man. What was it the other day? But we talked about something. Oh, they were they were all trying to decide where Katy Perry would perform if she came to town. And Jared was saying like 3 nights at Phillips Arena or something. And
3 nights.
Or maybe it was 2. Even if it was 2, like he just said, like multiple nights at Phillips.
It's also State Farm these days. I don't even live there, and I know that.
Sorry, State Farm. I don't fucking know. But yeah, so just the biggest venue, multiple nights, and I think they looked up Katy Perry's ticket sales, and it was reported that they are underselling, like underperforming, and even with that information. He was like, well, he just kept talking about how it was definitely the case. And it was just so fun. So I think I even said, I was like, does Christina, his wife, does she ever like get mad at you for never being able to like concede something when the evidence is presented to you otherwise? Like, does she ever complain to you about that? Nobody said anything.
There used to be a time
to know like how she feels. Like if she hears that, she's like, that's Jared.
There used to be a time that admitting that you were wrong and owning it was a strength, but now it's just a complete weakness. Like, no, never admit it, even if it's clear as day that you're wrong. Just don't admit it.
I don't think that that's endemic across everyone. I think that's pretty Jared of him.
A lot of people have that's what Trump does. Like, never admit it. It's a weakness.
I know, but he's dumb.
I like to admit things. Also, because I'm lazy. Sometimes I'll take fault. I'm also very stubborn, and there are plenty of instances. It's kind of a weird dichotomy, I guess, because there are plenty of instances where I will dig in and not relent. But there's other times like, man, I don't even want to have the conversation about this. It's like, yeah, it was my fault. You just shut the person up and you can move forward. You don't have to discuss things anymore.
I do that on the show when I know Eric is wrong. And I've maybe started to like inch towards correcting him and he's like rejected it. And I'm like, okay. So then he just goes off on this premise that is based on incorrect facts.
See, the problem is you don't present your case well enough. It's not about being right or wrong. It's the whole debate dynamic where it's like, I'm a good debater. It's like, I don't have any truthful facts, but I'm able to bury that other person because of my tactics.
Is that what I need to do? Is like not really have the facts on my side, but just learn how to.
No, I'm not saying you need to take it that far, but in the instances that you do have the facts, you have to start studying the art of the debate.
Ugh, I don't want to start doing anything. I could just have someone listen to me when I say something. That'd be a great start. And that's not on me.
You were very wrong about something the other day.
Oh, I probably was. What was it? Do you remember?
Musk, you wanted it stricken from the podcast record.
He said that, I said that Musk isn't steeped in
economics.
No. I said he's not steeped in
or was it technical stuff? Coding,
it was something technical. It was like cybersecurity. And he was like, "What?"
Oh yeah. I mean, it was something that's like, oh no, that's like what he built everything on.
My bad. I honestly, that was just like a blind spot in knowing about him, I guess, as a figure. I just thought that he owned these places, and ran them. I didn't know that he like actually knew.
It doesn't even matter. I couldn't even remember the details of it. Nobody else remembers. Nobody else cares.
Oh, I know. It was just so wrong.
It was very wrong.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's embarrassing.
I felt the embarrassment. It was so wrong.
Yeah, it's all right. Whatever.
I think I turned the volume down. I was like, oh, don't want to listen to this next part. It's so wrong.
It was fine, though, because I was like, can we go back? Can we just cut that out? And they were like, no, it's all right. We say wrong stuff all the time. So that felt like kind of nice camaraderie.
And I wouldn't be able to let it go. But I do believe that it doesn't matter.
No.
Again, I couldn't remember the specifics. But if the roles were reversed, I would not be able to forget it. I would be, you idiot, you fucking moron. As I've said before, there are plenty of things in my life that still present that embarrassment and shame. Like the time I made fun of a guy because he believed in creationism. And this is when I was on the air at 99X. And I put the phone call on and I was going after him. And I got to the point where I was trying to get him to chant what correctly would have been Darwin, the theory of evolution.
Right.
I was like, say it with me. And there was like a Gregorian chant of Darwin's name. Except I was saying Freud instead. Oof. So in an instance like that, so you just made a mistake. I'm trying to put someone down.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to mock them.
And you've put a lot of effort into this thing.
Yep.
Ouchie. Ow.
I still think about that one to this day.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
You better have your facts straight if you're going to go after someone.
I guess so. Including Musk.
Every other point I made was probably correct, but you couldn't get the biggest point right. Didn't have factual information.
Person's name that you're referring to. But you know what? Because that is it's so wrong. It's almost excusable because does that make sense? It's like this was obviously just saying the wrong name, and like if all the other facts are there and everything else is right, it's like, oh, he just really dug into the wrong name, which is unfortunate.
It's not a huge leap to make that mistake.
It's not.
As a person who was instrumental in advancing ideas and theories and a whole field. One just happened to be biology and evolution. The other one was psychology.
Yeah. I mean, it is very different. But it's not. Yeah, you're not saying like Meryl Streep versus Freud.
See, the good thing with me, because I sometimes, quite often, mispronounce things on purpose. It sets it up. So if I mispronounce something by accident, people don't know. Like, was that part of that thing that you do, or is that a real? I've set my life up that way very well. I think there's plenty of examples where I say something and it's wrong, and people think, "You just fucking with me." They don't know that I actually got something wrong. I know, and then I guard that.
Then you can play it off
like a secret. Then if it came out, that'd be the end of me. But yeah, I do play it off because like I don't know, you don't give much. Like you're so deadpan sometimes. that I was like, yeah, that's my whole trick. I've spent decades, my whole life creating this. That's the foundation of my being. Anyway, when I get things wrong, you aren't sure if I got it wrong on purpose or not.
Oh, man.
And you can't come at me. It's that's similar to the
smart.
weakness thing that I was saying where people don't admit fault. Like that one just doesn't bother me, but I think some people feel the same way about that. Like you'll come at me and you'll destroy me if I admit that I was wrong. So I can't ever
so then you
give
do
that.
understand people not admitting fault.
I understand why they do it. I just think it's stupid.
No, I mean, like personally understand, because you're saying that like this is a good reason why you'll say things so deadpan and sometimes mean it, sometimes not. And people will never know. So that if you make a mistake, right, then you get to say, I was just kidding.
See, I don't even have to say that. I don't ever say that, because that when you say I was kidding, then that takes it to a level I don't want to go to.
It does.
By default, people are confused. They don't know. And that's the way I prefer it. Because the moment you say, oh, I was kidding. It's like, yeah, right, dude. I just let people believe what they want to believe. I wouldn't outwardly push my agenda. I wouldn't lean in and say, no, I was kidding. But if somebody wants to believe it or think that I was doing it on purpose, I'm not going to stop them. I won't say anything.
Oh, man, that's even more powerful.
I'll leave them guessing. It's like, oh, it's up to you to decide. Make your own decision.
I mean, that's a way to do it. I think that's, in a way, it could come from someone who is very strong, or it could come from someone who is very weak. It's like either or.
I'm both.
Yeah, you're kind of both. Because you do feel like the most important person in the world, and then also the least important / piece of shit.
I have no ability to handle it when I'm wrong. Like if I present something and it's wrong, even a typo, like most people don't fucking give a shit about typos these days.
And they usually can like read what you read, even if you write it wrong.
And a typo
like
is a bit different than improper use of there, one of the various theirs, for example. Mm-hmm. So a typo is on a different level, but I still see a typo and it's like, I gotta fucking fix that. And if I can't fix it, it really bothers me. And then sometimes when you're just typing quickly, you'll use the wrong version of your or their.
Or were or where. Just like because you're typing, you're not the autocorrect changes it because you typed it wrong in the first place.
My God, when I see that, it's horror.
I think that's why I stopped using Twitter so early on, because you couldn't edit it and I would fuck up so much. Like, forget this. Everywhere else can edit and you're the only one that can't. Fuck you.
I figure you wouldn't care so much. You didn't seem like the kind of person that would care if you had a typo.
It would be such a typo. And it's so frustrating because it's just there forever now. Or you have to delete it. And maybe it's gotten some play. Like some people have seen it and you're like, now I have to, you can't.
Well, the idea is what? You can't edit it because people start responding to it. Then you go back and you change what you wrote and you make those people look like idiots. But I feel like that should be
everything else says edited, just like on the texts, when you mess up, it says that it's been edited. So you could just say like, oh, this has been edited. And so it says it on there. And then if the comments don't make sense with the thing that's posted, then you just look.
Yeah, you usually have access to the history.
Yeah.
Even in the text, you're right. If you edit a text.
Yeah.
And someone can go back and see.
Yeah, like okay, I'm going to pay you back the money. Oh, that's great. I agree with that. And then you go back and edit and say, I'm not going to pay you back. See? And they agreed that I'm not going to pay you back. Yeah,
so when you go to small claims court, Judge Judy, and you present your evidence, like I said, I'm never going to pay you back. And they say, great. Case dismissed.
Your counterclaim is dismissed. Go home.
There are people who will really stick in the knife and twist it. When I correct a text and they have, it's my friend Dave, really one person. He'll go into the edited text and like screenshot that and mock it.
That's a fun dude troll thing to do. That's funny.
It's just better not to. I mean, speaking of those things where you're embarrassed, and I probably already brought this up on the show, but Dave, I went to Ireland with right after Thanksgiving. We flew out the night of Thanksgiving this past year. We were in Dublin. We went to the Guinness tour. And we did the fancy thing where you go into the bar and the guy tells you stories about Guinness and tosses glasses around and pours you different types of Guinness. And you're going around and you have to do the introductory thing, which I can't stand. Nobody fucking cares who I am. We're not going to be friends after this. We're not even referring to each other by name while we're here. We're only here for an hour. There's no need to be on a first name, any name basis. Same thing happens sometimes in work calls when you're meeting with a client for the first time. And there's a bunch of people on the call. Let's say 25 people. Like, we're going to go around. We're going to say our names. And I leave. I come back 10 minutes later. I leave the meeting. I come back because I don't want to fucking introduce myself. Nobody cares. I have nothing to say. So this Guinness thing, part of it was tell us who you are, where you're from, and what your favorite drink is. And people are talking about the cool cocktails that they like. And there are people, I just like Guinness. Guinness is my favorite. And it gets to me. And I just say seltzer. I was like, I don't need it to be a boozy drink. He said it didn't have to be booze. He said it could be any drink. And
it's hard though, because seltzer now means
this is the problem. Yeah. This is what happened. I said seltzer.
I've had that before. I've asked for a seltzer and they've handed me the can. I'm like, no, you have to ask for soda water.
Yeah. So everyone there thought my favorite drink was alcoholic seltzer. Like, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean Truly or White Claw.
Yeah.
Or Bud Light seltzer. But now everyone, because even like the look in the Guinness guy's face, like he recoiled. He's like,
what a pussy.
Yeah. Where are your balls? Going back to that.
Where are your balls? Where's your vagina? Because it's so strong.
I was like, no, that's not what I meant. But I have no favorable memory of that visit now to the Guinness brewery because it's tainted with that conversation.
It's forever tainted.
Like, I could see him the next group, the next day, people come in and like, what's your favorite drink? And the other day I had a guy tell me he likes seltzer.
What a pussy.
Yeah. He liked White Claw. It's like, it's not what I said. I meant Schweppes. Just a straight up Schweppes seltzer. Even though I don't drink it as much as I used to. I drink Dr. Pepper Zero constantly now. It's so good.
Maybe that's affecting your brain.
No, don't give me that shit.
The aspartame's not good for you. It's causing cancer and eating away your body.
I don't know anything about aspartame, except I feel like anecdotally it gives me headaches.
Now you hear these people who say it's
Worse than sugar. You may as well eat the sugar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really believe anybody that says something is worse than something else. I just feel like you're part of some cult that involves that thing that's not as worse. I don't know. Or no, you're part of a cult that's against that thing.
Yeah, I guess the idea is, hold on, let me take a step back. If some people wake up in the morning and they have a Coke. They have a Coke with lunch and then they just drink Coke throughout the day.
I used to have a Surge in the mornings before school.
Surge was just so sugary.
Such garbage. It was like an Ecto Cooler.
It was like, Mountain Dew on steroids.
Yeah.
I did drink Surge though.
Yeah.
I just in the morning for whatever reason, as the person who will eat straight up sweets
you're like,
in the morning.
No, not that.
even Surge seemed like too much. Going back to the person who drinks Coca-Cola filled with corn syrup sugar throughout the day. You're going to tell me that that's better than someone who drinks Diet Coke throughout the day? I understand that on some level, neither is good. It's not what you should be doing. But when you're just comparing the two, I'd say the Diet Coke is better than the sugar-filled Coke.
Gosh. I might say the opposite because I don't know. Maybe I'm brainwashed, but I feel like it's because the Diet Coke has more weird shit in it than the regular Coke. But I'm basing that on nothing. I guess because they have to make it diet and they still have to make it appealing in some way, even though Diet Coke is categorically unappealing until you're used to it and then you love it.
Yeah, and I don't like Diet Coke. I go with the zero.
Diet Coke's gross.
The one that tastes more like the regular thing.
See, I'll just drink a regular mini Coke.
When you're drinking these more often and you're eating too much sugar otherwise because you take handfuls of Starbursts, you put them in your pocket to bring home. It's better just to have the sugar-free option. It's like not putting sugar in your coffee. I don't put sugar in my coffee. A few places I can cut it out, I may as well.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right on some level with the added chemicals and ingredients and the diet versions of things. And I think
maybe it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
I think it's the argument people make, but I still maintain If we're just looking at you're drinking one or the other, it's not, well, you shouldn't be drinking either. You should be drinking water. Yeah, no shit. Okay. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, that's not what we're saying.
I just think
We're going to drink some garbage. Which garbage is less garbage?
I feel like the Diet Coke would have less of an impact because just sugar is so bad. And there's so many grams of sugar in a can of Coke. A 20-ounce bottle of Coke has like 80. I don't even know. I don't know if it's like because they mess with the serving. So you look and you're like, oh, this bottle, it's 80 grams. Oh, that's per serving. And there are 2.5 servings in this. Though they do put the calories in, I think, one bottle of Coke.
I think it's 130.
No, like a bottle, a 20-ounce bottle, I think.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of the can. I think it says 130,
right.
but then it's probably 2 servings in the can.
No, I think the can itself is probably 1 serving. A 20-ounce bottle is like 200 something calories. So that seems to track. 64 grams of sugar in a 20-ounce bottle.
64 grams?
Yeah. And what's the limit, the upper limit that you shouldn't be having? But if you're going to, it's like don't go past 20 grams or something. Yeah,
I don't know the grams thing. I do know that I think the percentage is supposed to be like 8 to 12 max per thing you're ever eating.
16.25 teaspoons of sugar. That's teaspoons, not tablespoons.
Why would they put it in teaspoons? 16 teaspoons. Put it in like, isn't it like 6 tablespoons or something?
I have no clue how many teaspoons. How many teaspoons in a tablespoon? 1 equals 3. Here you go. That's 5.416649 tablespoons of sugar dumped into a bottle of Coca-Cola.
A bottle or a serving in the bottle?
I think the 20 ounce is the full bottle. Like the 20 ounce serving is the full bottle. That whatever.
Okay.
A serving,
say, what
a
if
serving
it's like
in a 20 ounce bottle is the full bottle.
Are you sure it's not 2 servings in there?
I'm not 100% sure. No.
I would bet you in the bottle it's more than 1 serving.
It's
like
so
nutrition information.
They fucking know that you buy a bottle of Coke from a gas station, you go into the BP or the Shell, getting some gas, and you grab a Coke. You're drinking the whole thing. It's not. Okay. Share it.
You're right. It's one bottle is the serving size, 240.
In the whole bottle.
The right one, baby.
It's bullshit. Like remember the king size candy bars became share size.
Shareable.
It's like, I'm not sharing this thing. This is mine. I'm a king.
I'm the king.
I'm never really going to be a king. So any instance I get to pretend that I'm a king, and if that means eating an extra serving of candy, I'm doing it. And how dare you take that away from me? It's shareable.
How come Coke has 75 milligrams of sodium?
Yeah, man, a little flavoring.
65 grams and 130%. That's a lot. That's too much. You should not be having that.
Man, the war on fat.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I used to think Skittles were healthy because they had no fat, because I really bought into the whole fat's bad. Stay away from fat.
It was our whole childhood. It was all about fat.
And it was all funded by the sugar industry.
That's so crazy. That's why I really feel like lobbying should be illegal.
On some levels. Most levels, yes, I agree. I think there's
the way that lobbying is being used like that, that's when it should be illegal. When it's not for like wholesome reasons.
I think
like you're just lobbying so that you can increase sugar-free or fat-free sales. Or
for your interests. Lobbyists are just there for their own interests. So for the most part, I agree. But I think these days there should be a little more lobbying instead of politicians just listening to the dumb, moronic masses. Which you think, in theory, it's like that's what you want. You want politicians to listen to the people. The people are telling them exactly what they want. But now they're listening to them to the extent it's like, I'm not going to work with the other side at all. Because my people will vote me out. At that point, it's like, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Idiots. So, okay. No job to be done. No progress to be made. Just got to keep your job. It's been talked to death. I get it. It just still blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
People who are so vocal about it probably aren't even the majority. But I guess there's enough of them where these people get voted out.
Did you hear about all those people that got their PPP loans forgiven? Like all of the politicians?
No.
Yeah, like Marjorie Taylor Greene got her PPP loan forgiven. It's all the people that are rallying for student loans to not be forgiven, of like, these people, you know, like they don't pay their student loans, you know, these losers or whatever. But like, look, I wrote it down. Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Well,
okay, so Marjorie Taylor Greene, 180,000. Yeah, Matt Gaetz, 476,000. They're all Republicans. Ralph Abram, 38,000. Ralph Norman, 306,520.
Of course. They don't really give a shit that people want their student loans forgiven. They give a shit that it's Democrats who want their student loans forgiven.
Yeah. It's like, you lazy, you know, listen, the idea of it being like, yeah, you took out a loan and now you need to pay it back. I agree with that, right? In principle. However, I do think it's fucked up that the reason why you need so much money to get into college is because of the way that the colleges have now worked with the banks or whatever, like own the bank or whatever that is, like the fucking Sally Mae. You know, it's like it's like we can raise our tuition so high because we know that you guys are going to approve these children for loans. And then when you're a kid, and I don't care if you're 18 years old or even 19 or 20, when you're that young, you don't realize the impact of what that much money borrowing for a loan can be, especially the stuff that they sell you about like education being so important. Of course, an education is important, but not your fucking, you know, English degree that you're going to get at the end of this. You're not going to be able to do anything with that. And now you've just got student loans for the next 20 years.
4 years seems like a long time when you're 18. It's like, yeah, I'll mortgage my future, but it's 4 years down the road. It's a long ways away.
Yeah, you don't think about that.
I'll deal with that when the time comes. And then the time comes.
And honestly, you need the money. You know, like doing a full-time job and a full schedule at school is difficult to do well if you're going to, you know, whatever. And so like you need, and it's your first time away from home and shit like that. Like there's a lot going on and it really should not be so insane to go to school.
I'm all for the defunding that's happening with Harvard and Columbia. Now, you can argue the reasons it's happening, and it's petty and it's vindictive. The reason the federal government's pulling funding, but fuck Harvard and fuck Columbia, charging those outrageous tuition fees. Yeah. The amount of money they have in reserves. Like, you don't need
still charging that much for people.
You're not struggling at all. You don't need the government support. You're already ripping people off. You're leaning on the fact that Harvard's prestigious and it means something. And it really shouldn't mean anything because for the most part, there are some people who get in based on merit alone. But for the most part, it's not the smartest of the people getting into those schools. It's the people who can afford it, who have the connections, who are meeting other requirements that the school set forth.
And who have names.
Yeah, it's so
they come from families.
So fuck you. You're insulting to throw that in my face in the first place, acting like only the best of the best go to Harvard. If I went to Harvard, would I make it? Probably not. But I think a lot of that's my laziness. And
do you mean make it as in like do well at the school or make it into getting accepted?
Well, I wouldn't even make it to getting accepted, I don't think, because my high school transcripts were never good enough because I didn't do homework. I didn't care. There's a way I approached all of this. I'm like, I'll just do what I need to do to get by and I'll still do better than most people. But to get into those schools, I understand that you need to be the person who did all the extracurricular activities, who graduated higher than the rest of the class with an above 4.0 GPA, which is mathematically impossible, but it's still a thing that can happen because extra credit and whatever bullshit.
Yeah.
I was never that motivated. Now, if I got into the school...
you have a name. You have a name.
Yeah. If I got into the school, could I have done well? If I really applied myself, I like to think on some level, if I applied myself more, I could do a lot of things. I think I have the tools, the ability. And there's this part of me that inherently is like, it's a lot of wasted energy. And at the end of the day, if I go and I have all this debt, and I guess if you come out in some high profile professional position, there's a way for you to make a lot of money to pay those debts back. But
the connections too. And there, the fact that it is prestigious means that like you connect with other people who also feel like they're in a place of prestige. And so that automatically includes you in their group.
Yeah, it's what you're paying. It's a big part of what you're paying for, the connections after the fact, which is why if you're a hiring manager, I plead with you, don't even fucking look at where the person went to school. I know there's some jobs where it's more important than others, but you could still find someone just as you're being lazy. I'm going straight for the Harvard graduate because I don't want to have to dig in too much. I can trust that no, fuck you. Maybe we should all boycott and rebel. As a hiring manager on my side, if you went to an Ivy League school, if you went to NYU, which is not Ivy League, but I lump it in, any sort of school that preys on their reputation and doesn't offer the benefit that the cost ratio is not matching, I'm going to boycott you. You're not being hired based on that alone. How do you like that? I know I can't say that. I'm joking. Anyone listening, I'm joking. It's not a real thing. Of course. It's just hypothetical in a different world. But I do like the idea of somebody coming in, chip on their shoulder. I went to NYU. The job's mine. It's like, oh, I see here you went to NYU. And they get really excited. That's correct. It's like, you're out. Don't hire people from NYU.
Get out. Get out.
Leave. Or you can, or denounce your school in writing. I'm going to get an affidavit. We're going to write it up. This is the worst school. I hate NYU. They do bad to society. They're trying to buy up all of New York. They contribute to inequality, wealth inequality. Sign this, and then I'll think about hiring you.
I always laugh on LinkedIn when it'll say like some alumni from Georgia State works there. I'm like, okay. It's not going to do shit.
Georgia State's a harder school to get into than it was.
Is that true?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. I feel proud that I went to college and that I like that I went to Georgia State. I feel like it's cool because it's like in the middle of a city and it kind of is shitty in some places. Like you got to like walk through homeless people.
I think they fixed a lot of it up, but yes.
They did. Like that park now that has like a playground in it that says ATL, but it used to and it had all those benches where it used to have like those rats in the bushes and all the homeless people hung out on the benches. They've been like pushed down the street, which is kind of a bummer for them, but.
The reason I went to Georgia State was because it's the middle of the city. I only applied to two places. I applied to Georgia State and the University of Hawaii for whatever reason.
Wow.
I was accepted to both.
Really?
But I look back, I was like, why Hawaii? Like I hadn't been.
Why not?
I hadn't been to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I don't like the really sun. I don't like the beach. I know there's mountains.
I know it is different though. Hawaii is a whole different thing than just like Myrtle Beach.
How different my life would be though if I went there. I wouldn't know. Yeah. I wouldn't be doing this right now. I wouldn't be on the radio show. I wouldn't know anyone. I wouldn't be in the same spot. Like I wouldn't have the same job. Mm-hmm. Everything would be different. My whole trajectory would be different, which you can say about anyone and anything, but it is crazy that here's a decision in front of you. You only applied to 2 schools because you didn't give a shit. It's like Georgia State, Hawaii. I was like, I want to get into radio. I want to be in the city. I really like 96 Rock for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah. Well, what else were you going to do? Z93?
No, I get it. Out of the classic rock stations, 96 Rock was the way to go.
Here comes the rooster.
It's just funny now that no high school senior would look at a radio station like, that's cool. I want to work there.
I know. We were like the last, almost, maybe not the last, but we were close to the end.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into radio. I was like, look, just get into the city. You're going to be where you need to be. I like cities. I used to just drive some weeknights when I was in high school. I just drive down to the city alone. I'd listen, listen to music, go to the city.
Me and my cousin Heather would do that sometimes. We would go down there and then we would park somewhere and then we would get into hotels and like run around.
I got lost once because it was before GPS. I went too far and I got turned around. Like I went down, I got on the 20. And then
I was like, did you make it to like the zoo on accident?
No, I made
it when that neighborhood was not.
I made it farther than that, like to the Lakewood Amphitheater area.
Oh, dang.
Where am I? I don't know how to get back. It's 10:30 p.m. This is scary.
How did you get back?
I don't know. I just drove around until I found the highway again. It is kind of crazy. There was a big cell phone in the car that was my dad's, and it probably cost a shitload of money to use. I'm like, well, if I get in some kind of trouble, then I could use this phone and maybe figure it out. But I don't want anyone to know. For whatever reason, I don't know. It's not like I did anything so terrible, but it's getting in the car, not telling anyone where I was going and driving down to the city.
Well, because then it would be like, now they're going to check up on me because I went into the city and got lost.
Yeah. So that was like, I want to be in the city. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with the way it all worked out. Wonder what Hawaii version of me would be doing right now. Who fucking knows? I can't I can't imagine.
What would you go to school there for? Still journalism or whatever?
That's the thing. I don't even know. I didn't even want to do journalism. I just wanted like the most basic communications, TV, radio, broadcast degree. They didn't offer it. So I chose journalism because it was close.
And did you ever try to get into the radio station at Georgia State?
I did. They rejected me. That was part of the reason too, because Georgia State had the full powered radio station. Yeah. WRAS. And the program was known. It's like, hey, they've got a good radio program. And I remember writing and just being rejected outright.
Dang. Did they say why?
I can't remember. I don't even remember what I wrote.
Hey, I like radio.
I was never strategic with any of this stuff. I had this idea. And it's like, I'm going to present who I am and the stuff I like. And that'll win people over. And I think most people are like, what the fuck is this? Like when I was trying to write and I wrote an article about why I hated the planet Jupiter, but then I wrote an apology to Jupiter and I would shop that shit around. It's like, here's some stuff I've written. It's like, what kind of paper, even if it's like an independent alternative weekly, like Creative Loafing. It's like, why the fuck would they want any of this?
Yeah. I mean, okay. So if you think about it, let's put you in the category of artist as opposed to writer, because what you're presenting is your art. And your medium is through writing in that case, right? Because it wasn't about, oh, I'm this great writer. It's like I have this strange idea and I need to present it, and the way that I'm presenting it is through writing.
Well, I am a good writer, and I think I like the idea of being able to write something like that. And make it interesting for people to read. Right.
I'm not trying to say that you're not a good writer, but when it comes to something like
I get it.
Shopping it around, it's hard.
I'm not selling out to push your stupid city council agenda. Yeah. I'm here to write dumb stories. And then the Sunday paper published a few weird things I did. And that was...
Well, it's because Pete Best knew.
He knew me.
No, Pete Best?
Best was his last name.
Yeah, Pete Best is from the Beatles.
I knew his name before you got it wrong. Now I cannot remember. Patrick Best. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, it's because he knew me. He knew Eric.
Yeah.
I was on the air at 99X. I think there was some level of, whatever.
That's true.
But even that, it's like you published.
Is the Creative Loafing still around?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Is it online only?
That would be such a bummer. I loved getting the loaf.
Atlanta source for events, culture, and news.
Okay.
And there's also one in Tampa.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the same company.
I wish that they had one here, but I guess Maryland is so weird because it's like DC, Baltimore, Annapolis. It's a strange, like, it's almost like boroughs,
No, they were over the course of it. There was Chicago and Washington Creative Loafing. Wow. And there was a partnership with Cox Enterprises.
Cox.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see if it's still being, I guess I could ask the question outright. Is it still being published in paper form? I doubt it. Loafing still in print.
Atlanta.
Yeah, no longer publishes a weekly print edition. It does publish special print editions occasionally through the year and focuses primarily on its digital platform. Okay, the weekly print edition ceased in 2017. It makes sense.
Whoa!
What?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, you had no clue.
Dang, we're talking about like a dinosaur. We're old, I think.
Yeah. Why would you read a paper that you grab out of a box?
But I mean, especially now with scooters and things, like people are more apt to be out on the streets. So
It's just so
having a
much
loaf
money.
there would be kind of cool. But yeah, it's a lot.
For them to print it, to get people to go out, distribute it, deliver it.
And then the people advertising in it probably aren't advertising in it anymore.
No, they don't give a shit. They got to go get those influencers. I got Cat Lanta Jr. Cat Lanta had a baby, and Cat Lanta Jr. has 58,000 followers.
Wait, is that true?
Micro-influencer. No.
Oh.
But that's where the advertising
guy have a
money
baby?
goes. It's like, if I want to reach the people of Atlanta, it ain't the creative loafing. It's Cat Lanta
Right.
Jr.
I see.
Kitten Lanta.
Aw,
Kit Lanta.
it's so cute. It's
Yes.
like Kit Boga.
So you'd fall for it, even though Cat Lanta. I put out my cat creations around the city, and I'll watch you all, you minions, run around and fight for them
Run.
as I sit on my throne high atop, overlooking the city and watching you fools fight each other for my very
love it.
basic, not that exciting creations.
Travis has them like in a shadow box on the wall.
I know.
Like a bunch of them.
We've talked about this.
But I'm sort of making fun of it with you, but I'm also like, I want to steal them real bad.
Cat Lanta.
I like Cat Lanta.
I just don't like that one's less egregious. There are those accounts where it's like, I put a $50 bill under a rock, and here's your little hint. And then, have you seen this?
I've never seen anybody put money around.
Yeah, they'll put money around, and that garners a lot of followers because they have a chance to go get $50. And so they give a hint of where it is, and then they set up nearby and secretly film. So they will show the video after the fact of people showing up and looking around, and then the person finding it. I was like, fuck. How desperate are you for attention online? Which drives the whole issue that we're dealing with these days.
Yeah.
That people are willing to sell their souls to be internet famous, even
People are,
if it's
internet
fleeting.
fame is like I guess a place of power, right? And just like how we were talking about with the politicians and the what's it called? The lobbyists, right? Like you're gonna give the lobbyist who lobbies you the best, you're gonna give it to them, not based on what is good for people that you're working for, like the people.
No, who gave me the most money?
Exactly.
Who took me to the most dinners?
So what's going to get me the most money? It's going to be this influencing stuff. And whether maybe I start out online as like a makeup reviewer, and I'm honest and I give you like real reviews, but then I start getting PR packages. And now I feel like, oh, I got to give this person a good review because they're going to send me more PR stuff. And then I'm going to get more and more famous because they're going to share my stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's
Pathetic. That's people selling out, instead of sending and submitting their articles about the planet Jupiter and why you hate it.
Yeah. See that?
Yeah, I am morally superior. You're right. Thank you.
There we go. Then we're back to tribalism.
That is the message of today's episode.
Yeah.
I am morally superior. Okay, wrap it up. Another hour, 8-minute episode.
Oh,
People are being
all right.
fucking spoiled.
You're welcome, guys. Love you. See you later. Bye. Thanks for listening. Bye.